Right, hi. Now, I've got a great question from Gaz. And Gaz has been asking about closing down. And I don't want to dwell on this because I know that some people don't quite get it. So if this doesn't mean anything to you, just don't, just kind of tune out. This is something that empaths need to be very, very aware of, because what happens is, and I actually believe that we are all going to become more empathetic as the time goes on and this ascension process goes on. It's just that historically, traditionally, it's been, psychics, intuitives, healers, channels, people who open themselves up to more divine guidance and who perhaps have naturally always been very empathetic and very sort of naturally psychic, who have had this issue of needing to be aware of our energy, what our energy is doing. And I know people who have not experienced this will say, oh, energy's limitless, you don't have to worry about it, you just intend that it's going to be okay. And all of that is valid. I do understand that. There is a place, there is a reality in which that is absolutely correct. At the same time, I want to deal with and address everyone's concerns at where we all are, okay? And so for empaths now, it's important for you to keep your energy right. When we say closing down, we're not talking about closing all the chakras. We're not either talking about shutting ourselves off from the world and from everyone else. What we're talking about is that basically, okay, in order to receive psychic information and intuitive guidance and divine consciousness and all of these things that we channel or we use to support our gifts, we are naturally more opened up energetically. So our chakras are sometimes just, like completely wide open. And what that means in the positive sense is that we channel a lot of healing energy all the time. People can actually feel this energy. And it also means that we can allow more guidance in, that we can hear our guides. When we open up at the beginning of a session, this is what we intend. What happens when you're naturally psychic and you're just beginning to become aware of it and you're developing is that you'll get all sorts of strange sensations and syndromes happening and you won't know what the heck they are. Like these really weird feelings in your chakras and feeling cords going in and feeling depleted after seeing certain people and all of this sort of thing. Okay, it's real and I need to validate it for people if it's their experience, okay? And I do know this experience as well. So we are dealing with that today. And when we talk about closing down, what we mean is, presuming that you are at the stage where you have learned how to, let's just say, how to manipulate these energies for your highest good and for the highest good of others. When you're in that place, you need to consciously open yourself up to divine guidance at the beginning of a session or a meditation or whatever, a channeling, some tuition that you may be offering, and then you need at the end of it to close yourself down to an appropriate level. So we're still receiving the divine energy. So what happens is that instead of your crown being like this, it's a little bit more like this, and your third eye, everything to a manageable level so that you can function in your reality. And again, please don't get worried, people, law of attraction people. We're not talking about keeping out ghosties and goblins or anything like that. We are talking about wanting to wander around through the 3-dimension in a grounded way, knowing that we are not picking up everybody's energies, because there are depressed people out there. There are people who are not resonating on the same frequency, and you don't really want to come in from your shopping and have to deal with all of that stuff as well. So you want to go out feeling pretty much the same as you did when you come back feeling as good as you did when you went out, preferably, maybe even better, because you've engaged with nature a little bit. Hint, hint. So basically there's that aspect, not absorbing energies that will change your state, your emotions, your ability to enjoy life. And secondly, another thing that happens when you're not grounded, this is the protection part, so it's grounding and protection. When you're not grounded, you can't function quite well enough, you know. You find yourself tripping over things, bumping into people, just feeling spaced out, you know, and it becomes difficult for you to manage your life. And that is something that tells you that you need to be able to ground the energy as well as to keep it all in balance. And something that, I mean, my learning has been ongoing and it still is. And sometimes I'm learning things through studying on courses, and sometimes I'm just learning things in my own clearing sessions that I go to other people for, constantly clearing, wanting to get closer to the divine, wanting to get rid of more of the obstacles. And sometimes it's just about connecting with other people and just sharing our stories and our experiences. But I learned something, and you learn things supposedly accidentally sometimes in the most unusual situations. So for example, I was working on family constellations with someone, and at the end of every session, because he was very intuitive, he was a psychic as well, he would get me to bring my energy in, because I would become very expanded in a session, because I was thinking about my family, and then I would start going out and thinking about the human family, and then I would be in a past life interacting with previous families, and I would be stretching, you know, somewhere beyond all of that, out into the cosmos, always reaching and expanding. And by the time I got to the end of the session, I was barely in the room. And another aspect of being too open that some of you might experience is, you know, you might be sitting on the tube, for example, and that's the underground, the metro, whatever, the subway, depending on where you live, and you might find that you're in a carriage that's got loads of empty seats, but for some reason the carriage is suddenly flooded with people and everyone is standing in a clump around you, even though there are tons of places that they could sit. And it's because you are still channeling a huge amount of divine energy and you're still very expanded, and they want to experience and feel that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not all malicious or, you know, vampiric. It's sometimes just that, you know, not everyone is consciously trying to make that connection and embodying that presence. And, you know, they like it because they remember it. They remember it's what they are. And it's great that you're a reminder of that. But sometimes it can create these uncomfortable situations. For example, attracting too much attention, and some of the attention within that will not necessarily be positive and might leave you feeling depleted, okay? Whether you're an infinite being or not, you're in the third dimension, and some of the things that you experience will be quite extreme as a divine being, okay? So we want to take care of you and make sure that all of that, you know, that everything that's happening to you is manageable so that you can work effectively. So what he would get me to do was to bring my energy in consciously, to become aware of where it was, you know, out there somewhere in space, and to just bring it in your energy. When you're just functioning normally in the 3D world, it should be like, you know, quite fairly close, like, I don't know, maybe 5 inches or so away from your body, that you should feel it, quite compacted and strong, and this is in a sense your protection. But another aspect of your protection is to close your chakras, to visualize them closing to a level that's manageable. You can ask the angels as well if you have an issue with visualizing, or if you have an issue with knowing, well, how closed is closed, how open is open, do I want to shut down completely, all of that stuff. Then you can just say, Archangel Michael, please just bring my chakras into an appropriate, see, I can feel it happening now, to an appropriate place, so that I can, except I don't want to close down right now, because we want to be quite inspired during this. So I think that's most of the territory of why it's important. And now I'd like to go and show you the exercise, because what Gary actually asked is, do you have techniques for closing down for people who are not necessarily great at visualizing? It was something like that. So, and just to completely reiterate once more, that the reason that you do this is because you open up and you expand when you're connecting with the divine. And if you are consciously doing that a lot and on a regular basis, then the chances are that when you go out to go and, you know, get your groceries or whatever, you are possibly in slightly more of an expanded space than you need to be. Yes, it's great to be a channel of love and light constantly, and yet you need to take care of yourself, okay? You can sit down in a room and be a channel of love and light and do your visualizations and your light working exercises, And you can even do those on the bus, and you can ask for the angels to do that, to allow you to channel through you whilst allowing you to maintain, you know, that safe space around you. Okay? And I think that's everything. So let's just look at what's happening. Now, Gaz, the reason that I said to you I like to teach these techniques one-to-one is that when I work with people on these exercises, I am looking at their energy field at the same time, so I'm able to see what's happening for them specifically. And sometimes we release cords, sometimes we dissolve blocks, sometimes their angels and guides give them specific tools, like little magical gifts that they can use for protection or for resolving these issues or dissolving these energies. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do that in this exercise, but I'm just going to make a very quick suggestion and just run through what I would do, and hopefully that is something that you can practice on your own, and let me know if you want to have a session. Right, so what I would do, let's assume that you're in an expanded state and that at the beginning of your session, your reading, whatever it is that you did your grounding, attuning, protecting and invoking exercise as taught to me by the Diana Cooper School. Just thought I'd give them a little plug. And it's a fantastic way of basically making sure that you are connected to the earth, that you are connected to divine energy and it's flowing through you beautifully, that your heart is open and attuned to the highest guidance, that you invoke the highest guides and beings that are available to you to offer you wisdom, love, and accurate, specific, meaningful guidance. And then protection. So, for example, Archangel Michael's cloak of protection is one that I use quite a lot, but I use them at various other things. I often ask for a chorus of Archangel Michael's protective angels, and I get them to surround the building, surround the house, surround me. So, you know, it can get quite intricate. It depends on what I'm about to do and how in depth it is. So, okay, those are the four things, first of all. Ground, attune, protect and invoke at the beginning. And so you're coming to the end of your session. You've given thanks to the guides. You feel you've passed on everything that you need to. And all of this is done very intuitively. You just feel and know and sense it. So what I want you to do is to just kind of with your inner vision, look up and see what's happening to your crown. And if you have an issue with visualizing, as you've said, you can just feel it. So there is a state for too open, and there is a state for closed, and there is a state for just right, okay? And I want you to just ask your guides to show you too open. And you'll feel something like it might be a tingling or a sense that it's whizzing, and you must just allow yourself to let this knowing coming. It's just a knowing, okay? You don't have to feel anything, you don't have to see anything, you don't have to hear anything from them. Just know, okay? Right, okay, I see it, I feel it, I sense it, I know it, it's too open. Now, ask Archangel Michael, can you please bring it to a level that's manageable and that's sensible for me now, so I can still receive divine wisdom and travel through the three-dimensional world, okay? And just breathe into that and just allow it to be. Another thing that you can do is you can use the modalities that you do feel very in tune with. So, for example, what's it like? If too open to you is like a loud noise, you can just say, right, quieter and quieter, quieter and quieter, okay? You just imagine that sound becoming really soft and quiet until it's a whisper. Your higher self, your energy field will know what you mean by this. It doesn't really care about the language or the modalities. It's reading the intention. So if it's a sound and it's loud, is wide open, you're thinking quieter and quieter. If you do have the visuals, or you don't have the visuals but you can have a knowing about what it looks like, then bright might be wide open and you can imagine it getting softer and softer. Not dull, don't use words like dull or dim, but just like, you know, maybe that bright white light turns to a soft blue light, and it's in protection, and it's Archangel Michael is helping you with your intention here. Always call in the archangels if you're in any doubt whatsoever, and be specific about what they want. You could probably just cover this by saying, Archangel Michael, please help me to bring all of my chakras into balance so I can navigate the 3D world and help me to ground myself. And just sit there for 10 minutes. However, they're always encouraging responsibility, and it's a team effort, and it's much more powerful that way. So, third eye, what is it? Is it loud? Is it bright? Is it tingly? Take away the tingling. Take away the space. Bring down the noise. Put some soft lighting in there. And go all the way down like this, into the throat, into the heart, solar plexus, the sacral, the base. And as you're doing all of this, that feels really good. I am just going to close down now. Just your intention is that where there was noise, it's a bit like that prayer of St. Francis, you know, where there's hatred, let me bring love. where there was noise, let me bring quiet now. I want you to go through all of the chakras like this until you feel a beautiful peace coming over you. And I want you to practice doing that daily, okay? And if you want to come to me for a private session, I can show you how to do the whole opening up, connecting with source and grounding, feeling what it's like to be that open and connected, and then feeling the difference, feeling what it's like to be nice and closed and quiet and completely at peace. It's a beautiful meditation in and of itself. All right, so just let me know. I hope that helped you. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.